Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I started up the game here, and there was a milestone here that we have apparently initiated the first flyby of the sun. I don't think we have. We will eventually, but that's kind of wild. I don't know why we got that. That's strange. What we actually did last episode was we dropped a launch pad next to the colony on the moon. So that's what we need to do here, is we need to unpack this at this point and get this set up. This is not the prettiest of things. The next colony is going to be put together in a much more, shall we say, logical manner, now that we know what components we need to make this work. That's the idea. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have like quadrants-ish, or like modular components. Probably. Not even like quadrants. So what I'm thinking is it's going to come down, it's going to be on wheels instead of on landing legs for Duna, because we're going to need to have, well, definitely wheels, because Duna has an atmosphere, and it's much harder to precisely land on Duna. We could try? I don't have a technique for it. So I would have to come up with one. That could be interesting. For now, I'm going to have Jeb and Bill, both EVA. That's where you board? Okay. Well, we don't want him to be there necessarily. For now, all I want to do is I want to bring him right on down. And of course, I forgot that the EVA thrusters have a hard time dealing with the gravity while he has the tools that he has in his possession. That's fine. For now, we're going to have Bill come out and do the absolute same. Except this time, he's going to learn from Jeb, and he's going to start the EVA thruster a lot earlier. There we go. Like I said, they just can't quite beat the gravity. So that's fine. Now we're going to need to have Dunvan come over here, or somebody with a drill, but the only one that currently has one equipped is Dunvan. So where are you at, Dunvan? He's definitely here somewhere. Ah, hang on. Here we go. Dunvan. Excellent. So as soon as Dunvan can EVA, that would be great. And get on up. And let's head over this way. So we need the drill, and the next question is, how heavy is this part? That is certainly an interesting question. Can we move it with 3 Kerbals here? How many Kerbals are we going to need to move this? 9.528 tons. Okay. So it has some fuel in it. We'd need 10 Kerbals to move it right now. It has some fuel. So if we were to swap in here to the pad launcher, we can see we have this much liquid fuel and oxidizer. That's a lot of that weight. I definitely want to be able to move it closer. So one thing I'm thinking about doing here, temporarily, is having Jebediah come out over here and placing, if we go into the inventory, placing a joint socket from here. So this would be a, hang on, this part can't be attached without a tool. Okay, let's just put these on the ground for now. That'll be fine. So we're going to need to have Dunvan be the one to actually place them on the ground, or rather, actually install them. That's absolutely okay. So Bill is here, here is Dunvan. Okay, we've got some extras as well in case we accidentally break these. We shouldn't. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to transfer the fuel from here to here. That's the idea anyway. So we're going to grab this, and actually, I don't know if it matters which side is which. I'm going to attach this on this side. And this is going to be a little ways away. So we're just going to need to grab this and place this a little bit more accessible of an area. There we go. And then we're going to put the resource transfer station. Actually, we need to move it a little bit closer here. And I'm not sure if the order in which we attach these is important either. So let's go ahead and find that out. So we need to come in over here, grab the connector, So Dunvan now has this connector, and we're going to attach this out over here. Hopefully, it'll reach. So far, so good. Excellent. So this is currently undocked. I don't know if we need to be docked here, but what we need to do, I know I read that you should not use the vanilla transfer when they're connected like this. You should absolutely utilize the other transfer mode. So what I want to do here, this is the first colony project. I want to go specifically to the pad launcher. Okay, and then show UI, resource manager. And then I want to select the liquid fuel and the oxidizer. And then we should do in here, out here, and out here. Start transfer. Okay, that got the majority of the fuel out. This is now full, so we can't do any more fuel there. That's fine. For now, I want to hop over to Dunvan again. Where are you at, Dunvan? Dunvan is here somewhere. Here's Dunvan. Okay, so next I want to detach this. So we will detach this connector. Okay. I didn't expect it to just kind of stay there and be physics enabled. I expected the entire connector to disappear and have to go back over here to grab it. But we now have the fuel over, and the question is, how much weight reduction was that? It'll be some. Ah, okay. So this connector over here, how do we despawn it? Okay, here's Bill. So Bill can grab this connector, in theory. We don't seem to be able to click on it. Here we go. Y to pick up the connector. And I think we have to take the connector back over here. And then use this to get rid of the connector. That's fine. It's a little tedious, but it's fine. Oh yeah, I can actually, as it's moving, you can actually see it spinning there. That's a really cool detail. Okay, return connector. There we go. That's what we want. Fantastic. So, now the question is, if we were to come back over here, and really we should just hop over to Jeb. Okay, 7.9 tons at this point. But I think that's with everything connected. So what happens if we were to detach this strut connector and this strut connector? Now, this might cause some tippage, and that would not be ideal. For sure. My initial plan was to deploy this launch pad as it is, and we might still do that. And then move these out from beneath it, and then move it over. So that may end up being the case. I want to see what would happen if we detach this. It could theoretically tip, though. So let's go ahead and open this launch pad, because it'll be in a better position if it's like this and it tips over. It's much less top heavy like this. Although I don't know how balanced it really is. I guess we're about to find out. Let's detach this. Okay, so the entire thing here is 5.1 tons. Okay, I'm definitely seeing it slide. This is 2.288. Yeah. Okay, so we can work with 5 tons. It's going to be a little tedious. No doubt about that. So that would be 6 Kerbals that we would need to lift that. And we should have 6 Kerbals. So if we head off over this direction somewhere. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I'm not surprised that it eventually would tip off. It'll settle down. That's fine. Okay, so if we continue to head off over this way, somewhere we'll find some additional Kerbals. And that somewhere is the launcher. Although here we've got tenant Kerbin, or Kerman, rather, and that's fine. Let's go ahead and EVA tenant. Okay, RCS on, and we're just going to fly over here now. Excellent. So we'll just park tenant about here for now. And in the future, we should probably not have this be quite so close because that creates a lot of additional parts to flip between. There's no doubt about that. So there's definitely been some serious lessons learned on this. That's for sure. Okay, so Billy Bobcat is going to head off over this way now. And if he lands right on down over here, we should now have 5 Kerbals in range of this. It's only showing 3. Maybe one of these guys is out of range. Maybe Tenant is out of range. That's fine. So we know that we should need a total of 6, right? So this is Tenant. That's Billy Bobcat. Okay, where's our launcher at? It's here somewhere. Okay, this is kind of awkward. That's Jeb. That's Bill. Okay, Dunvin might be a little out of range here. Let's move Dunvin in. Tenant is almost definitely out of range. Is this capping out at 3 tons? This might actually be capping at 3. I wonder if we could do this in Kerbal construction. No, and we probably shouldn't anyway. So we appear to be capping at 3 tons. Although I'm wondering, yeah, let's see about bringing in Tenant here a little closer. I think we might be capped at 3 tons, in which case this could be a bit of an issue. We'll just have to design for that on the real one. Oh, this is now 4 tons. Okay, so I guess we just have people out of range. Billy Bobcat, come on in. And this might now be Jeb out of range. Okay, so that's Tenant. I'm glad that we're not capped. That would be very awkward if we were capped. Okay, we can get out Not a Gun here as soon as we can. And yeah, Jeb is... Oh, automatic EVA disabled because you're here. Not a Gun, go ahead and transfer up to here. There we go. And now Not a Gun will be able to EVA. Perfect. And we're just going to head on over. Any moment now. There we go. Okay, so this is now 5 tons. We have a grand total of 5 Kerbals here, and then I believe that Jeb is currently out of range. So let's go grab Jeb. Where is Jeb? We have so many little parts around here. It's definitely a problem. That's Jeb. Who's out over here then? Is that Bill? Yeah, that's Bill. Okay, Bill. Come on over. Bill does have right now in his inventory the components here, so he's going to be a little on the low side, or I should say slow side. This is still 5 tons at this point. Okay. So we've got these 3 Kerbals here. We've got these 3 Kerbals here. I wonder if this one is a little bit out of range, perhaps. So that's Dunvin there. I don't know what's spinning here. Oh. It's just a strut connector spinning off into nothingness. That's fine. I don't care. A strut connector is kind of irrelevant. So that's Tenant. That's Billy Bobcat. That's Not a Gun. What else do we have here? There's a Kerbal here somewhere that I want to move, and I'm not sure which one it is. Jeb? Yeah, Jeb. Yeah, Jeb was too far away. Okay. So now we can grab this. That's too far from target. That's 5 meters from the target. This is going to be a little awkward. Okay. We need to think about how we want to move this. We can fit it in about up over here. But we've got a Kerbal standing right there, right? We need to get this out into clearer areas. I'm wondering right now if we might not be better off grabbing this up over here. But my concern then is that this will fall down and it'll crush these guys. So actually we can grab the launch pad from here, and that might do the trick. Ooh, hang on. I think this is not going to cause us any physics issues. I'm going to quick save just before, just in case. So it's a little hard to see the exact angle here, but let's just go ahead and position this about here. Hang on. Okay, I'm a little bit concerned about that Kerbal there. I wonder what this will do to a Kerbal that it spawns inside of. I did just quick save, so we could find out for science. I'm definitely concerned about that. Actually, that was fine. So that's not a problem. That is great. And that, of course, means that we can just slowly move this thing. But that's going to be incredibly tedious, because we're going to need to have our Kerbals close enough, and that means swapping through these Kerbals a lot. And just moving this like 3 meters at a time. So it's movable, but it's not very movable. One question that I have is, and this is probably a bad question. I should probably not ask this question. I want to be clear about that. One question I have is, what if we invert the rotation of this and use these engines and the remaining fuel to try to push it all over the ground up this way? That's probably a bad question. That is certainly not a safe activity. Okay, I need to find one of these other Kerbals. This is Tenand. Yeah, this is fine. Here we go, Billy Bobcat. This is who we're looking for. So if we were to turn this around, we can do that very easily, right? That's not a concern. I believe we need one additional Kerbal in range here. Yeah. So that would be not a gun, and you're going to come down over here. We're not going to have probe control, I don't think. Also, I'm wondering if this has any sort of an anchor to it. I don't know. Right now, we don't want it to be anchored, though. So if we were to set this on the ground, out over, like, this way, right? I don't want it to be doing that. If we were to invert the direction of this and get it out over here, ideally. So let's go ahead and move Not a Gun out over this way to get us a little bit cleared. So yeah, somewhere out over here. Invert the direction of this so that this is, yeah, going to be pulling us in this direction approximately. Like that. Okay, it kicked up a little bit. It'll come back down. It'll settle. No big deal there. So I don't love that angling. The actual angle that we should be going for here, in theory, would be something like this. Okay. Then we would make sure that Not a Gun is not here. I don't know if we have any electric charge in this right now. We could get some. That would be a doable thing. What am I doing? This is going to be pushing us away. This needs to be facing the other direction. Get back in there, Not a Gun. Okay. So we're going to grab this, and it needs to be pulling us in this direction right here. Okay. Now you can get out of there if you can, Not a Gun. There we go. Potentially a little awkward. And then we want to switch to the launch pad. So, that could be a little bit exciting to do. Pad launcher one? No, that's not what we want. Dunvin, Bill, Jeb. That's the pad launcher? Yes. Okay, do we have any electric charge here? No. Oh, we don't need it. Okay. So that Stampatron is going to be a bit of an issue, but this is actually working. Okay, let's just put it here for now, and we're going to need to deal with that Stampatron. That is definitely a problem. So Jeb, head on over here. I think the Stampatron is 2 tons, isn't it? So I think we're going to need a second Kerbal over here. Yeah. Okay, so what else do we have? Here's Bill. Come on over, Bill. Now, Bill is still laden, but we'll try to RCS over as best we can. Okay. There we go. Bill even managed to land it. I like it. Okay, I'm just going to put the Stampatron out over here. And it's facing upside down. That's perfect. Okay, now we're going to need to get these guys out of the way. I can't believe this is actually working. This is insane. Okay, where's Jeb? Here's Jeb. Get out of the way, buddy. There we go. Okay, back to the pad launcher. And I just want to put it somewhere around here. Okay, this builds up quite a bit of speed. It slides pretty well. It likes to go a little this way as well. That's relatively fine-ish. Okay, let's just put it here. Yeah, I'm content with this positioning. We don't need to move that anymore. That is so much less tedious than moving it by hand. Okay, next we're going to need to go grab Dunvin. So Dunvin is right here. Come on over, Dunvin. So over Dunvin comes, and then we're going to need Bill, because we did not harvest off the other parts, so that's okay. So Dunvin's just going to park right here. Okay. Bill is going to need to make his way on over. He is quite laden with parts right now. Okay. Bring it down to a nice, gentle halt. I like it. And we will open up his inventory and grab this RTS transfer station. And we'll also grab one of these joint sockets. He's actually got 2. I think. No? Maybe he's only got 1. That was just indicating the second slot. So that's fine. At this point, Dunvin is going to need to install these. So I want to grab this and install it about right here, although I think we're too far away. So we'll just put that there for now. And let's install this approximately here. Perfect. That didn't get attached. Hang on. That'll attach it. Okay. And then the other we can install like right here, probably. Okay, something along the lines of that. Excellent. And then we can just run our line directly over. Dunvin, can you not tumble, please? I just need you to grab... Actually, I think we need to grab it from here, because this is where it extends from. So, yeah, we need to grab it from here. Grab this connector. I really love the fact that as you move, this rotates, making it look like you're, like, pulling the hose out of it. That's such a good detail. Okay, are we going to have to jump for this? I think we are. Okay, there we go. Connector attached. We're in undocked mode right now. So that's understood. These are not docked. They just have the resource connection. So we can dock them together, but that can create krakens. So the question is, are we okay with just having it be connected and undocked? So for now, I'm trying to locate our, not a lunar lander, trying to locate one of our objects here. This is it. This is what I'm trying to find. So as we can see here, we have 13.2 rocket parts in this, and in this launch pad, well, we can actually just open up our UI here. So show UI and then resource manager, and then we can see that the rocket parts... Okay, let's select rocket parts. Yeah. So out in like this, and start that transfer. Hang on. There we go. In and out. This is just turning it on and off. Okay. I don't know that this is actually... is this working? Yeah, this worked. Okay, so we're at 0 here now, so the rocket parts are currently here. If we go into the build manager and we select pad 0, we're not seeing a site. So I think we're going to have to switch this over into docking mode. I'm going to quick save before this happens. We were warned that this can crack it. Okay. Doesn't look like it crackened. So that's good. If we go back into the UI now, no sites found, but we have pad 0 and we have pad 1. Okay. I think this is fine. I think it's fine. So next we need to actually build something. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll get these Kerbals squared away, and eventually we'll need to get this out of here. But for now, this is absolutely okay. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. I got distracted thinking about our rocket parts. It's very exciting stuff.